So welcome to another session of Tech Buddies brought to you by the MPC Foundation. I just want to say a big thank you once again to all our volunteers from Youth Central. So thank you guys so much for participating today. I really do appreciate it. Everybody from MPC does as well. So that is fantastic. So today we're going to be talking about Gmail. So Gmail is essentially Google's version of email. So the G in Gmail stands for Google, and email is just essentially electronic mail. So if you don't already know, and email is pretty common nowadays, but email is a way for you to send messages from one person to another, or for you to send messages to many people all at once. So there's lots of different companies out there that have versions of email. So Microsoft has a version, they would do Hotmail, or they would do at MSN. There's a few other ones that Microsoft has as well. Gmail has, or Google has Gmail. Apple has iCloud emails. So there's a lot out there. Some of them are free, some of them have a cost associated with them. In this case, Gmail is really useful because it is one of the better email service providers, and it is also a free email service provider. So it's one that you can have without having to pay anything extra. So to start out with, want to make sure that you actually have the Gmail app installed on your phone or tablet. So today's session, we will be talking about both Android and iOS. So regardless of which kind of phone you have or which kind of tablet you have, you will be able to use the Gmail app. So what you're looking for on the Google Play Store or the App Store is Gmail. It looks a little bit like this. I think this particular picture is a bit out of date. I do believe that the Gmail icon has actually changed. It's now, I believe, like a multicolored M versus the one that you see here where it was the letter. So if you're looking on the App Store or on the Google Play Store, type in Gmail. It should be the very first one to pop up. It'll just be a giant multicolored M that says Gmail. So I want you to download that and install it on your phone or tablet right now. So I'll give everybody a moment to do that. Perfect.
And so I should get the Gmail app, that one, is it, or gmail.com?
Gmail app. So if you go on your phone, Sue, go to the App Store or go to Google Play Store and just type in Gmail on the search bar.
And yeah, okay. Yeah. Because it comes up at .com or app. That's why I asked. Oh, okay.
I think I search for it on mine. I just want to see what it comes up with when I type in Gmail. Gmail. Yeah, so
get the Gmail there, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So it'll actually be called Gmail. It might say Gmail-email by Google, but that's what it is.
Okay.
Perfect. So when you click on the Gmail app, if it pops up looking like this, so this little image on the right-hand side there, it means you're already signed in and you already have an account. Ignore the big blue box in the middle there. That one's just for privacy for these emails here. But if you sign in and it looks like this, where you can see a bunch of emails and in the top right-hand corner it has a letter or your picture, that means you already have an account. But if you don't have an account, then you'll want to create one. So what you can do for that is in the top right-hand corner, click on the little icon there and click on Set Up Email. So in this case, we'll want to set up Gmail. On my next screen, actually, it will show what it'll look like if you don't have an account. So if you open up Gmail and you don't have an account already, then this screen will pop up here where it'll ask you to put in your email address. Now, if you've ever used any other Google programs, so if you've used Google Maps or if you've signed in on Google's search page, then you can actually use that same sign-in as your email for Gmail as well. The nice thing about Google is that you can use the same login pretty much through all of their services. So if you already have one, just use that one to sign in. If you haven't used Gmail before or any other Google services, click on Create an Account here, and that will walk you through the process of actually creating a Google account.
Excuse me. When I get in, it says sign in to complete purchase. Is that mean I have to pay for it or why?
Is that on the App Store or is that under Gmail?
On the App Store, or maybe I get the wrong one.
It should be a free app. So if you're searching for the Gmail app, there shouldn't be a cost associated with it. So maybe you're clicking on the wrong one.
The one, can you see my?
I think I can move your thing a little bit to the left. Yeah, there we go. That one, yes, that one is it. Gmail, email by Google. So when you click on get, what ends up happening when that?
When I say get, it says signing to complete purchase.
Oh, so there's no cost with it. What it's doing is that Apple is just making sure that you are authenticating yourself. It just wants to know that you are you before it lets you actually download another program to the phone. Okay. What it's going to ask you for is the email that you used to sign into your Apple device, and then the password you used to sign in. You would need to use that when you're downloading any app on iPhone.
Oh, okay.
So that's not just the Gmail one. That's like you downloading any app.
Oh, okay, okay.
So once you put in your email address or create an account, the next screen that will pop up will ask you to put in the password that you want to use for. I shouldn't say the password you want to use. The password you used when you set up that account. When you're ready to do that, click on sign in, and then the next screen.
Okay.
Will be your email inbox. You'll see a few different things. The first one at the top here is this little, almost like, they technically call it the hamburger, but I don't like that word for describing this. The 3 lines, actually the hamburger works. Anyways, click on these 3 lines there and it will give you the ability to go to other folders that you have there. So that could be like your inbox, that could be your sent items, that could be some of your favorite emails that you've put there. It can be a bunch of other stuff, and I'll talk about that in just a little bit here. On the right-hand side of the bar at the top there is an icon for your account. So if you click on that, you can actually get details about your Google account. So you can go to account settings, you can sign into different accounts if you have multiple accounts. You can sign out from here as well if this phone is used by multiple people. Underneath that is your actual inbox. So any emails that you receive will appear in this inbox here. Now, the inbox will show you pretty much every email that you have unless you organize it into different folders or if you delete it or if you archive it. So there's a few different ways that you can get them out of your inbox so that they don't clutter it up. But if you don't do any of those things, your inbox will be quite large and you'll see all of your emails in here. On the right-hand side of each of the emails there will be a little star here. So this star gives you the ability to almost like flag the emails so that if you ever want to see those emails in the future and you don't want to have to scroll through your inbox, you want to find them in a place that's maybe a little bit easier to see, you can click on this star important emails button. And then there's a separate folder under this mailbox and settings page here, so this little hamburger, where you can actually go in and click on favorite emails. So anything that you start will show up under those favorite emails. In a little bit, I'll actually show you what that looks like as well. Down at the bottom here, so you can see the number of unread messages. So on here, it will show you the mail icon, so getting to your inbox there. And the little icon next to that is the number of unread emails that you have. I try to keep mine fairly low, but I know a lot of people will leave a lot of their emails unread. I've seen people with a very high number on this unread email spot there. Try to manage this the best way that works for you. If you find that leaving things unread is easy for you, great. If not, if they're spam, mark them as read, go into them, go out of it so that it shows that you've read it. Just so the little icon here to start from unread emails. Finally, on the right-hand side here near the bottom is another button called Compose. And Compose will let you write your own emails to other people. And so we'll go into that in quite a bit of detail in just a sec. Does anybody have any questions on this part so far?
Nope.
So far, so good? Awesome. Okay, so next we're going to learn how to compose an email. So at the bottom, like I said, if you click on this compose button here, what will end up popping up is a page that looks like this. So the compose page has a few things that you can do with it. So at the top here, you'll see from, and essentially from is going to be your email address. So it just is a way for you to verify which email you are sending this message from. The reason why this shows on here is you can actually have multiple accounts connected to Gmail. So you can set up multiple accounts there and you can send emails from different email addresses. So if you do have multiple accounts, it makes it very useful to know which one you are sending from by seeing it at the top here. Underneath that is the to category. So that one is going to be the email address that you are sending to. So you do need to get that email address from whatever recipient it, or from the person you're going to be sending that to there. Below that is the subject line. So this is essentially a quick like summary of what it is that's included in your email. So if you, for instance, are sending out a schedule, you are working in a store and you want to send out a schedule to your employees there, you might put schedule for the upcoming week in the subject line, just so the people who get your email quickly can see what the topic of that email is about without actually having to go into the email and read it. Below that is the compose email part there. So this is actually the main body of your email. So in here is where you're going to put in all the details of what you're sending to the other person. So if you were thinking of like writing a physical letter here, this would be what's in the main letter there. So to whoever, your details from and your name. There's lots of different ways to write an email. Some can be very informal, some emails can be very formal. It kind of depends on who you're sending it to and what message you want to get across. Couple more buttons on this page. At the top here, this little paper clip, this one is the attachment button there. So what I mean by attachment is you can actually add pictures or videos or documents or a whole bunch of other stuff to the email as well. So say you took a picture and you wanted to email that to somebody else there. By clicking this little paper clip here, you can attach that picture to that email so that they'll get a copy.
You guys can talk, it doesn't matter. The first hour or hour and a half or whatever. Oh wait, sorry, I didn't realize I was unmuted. My bad.
No worries.
Ryan, can you mute everybody unless they want to talk? They could unmute themselves.
Sorry, no, that was my bad. I didn't realize it was unmuted.
No problem. I think we're okay there because I want to make sure if somebody does have a question.
No, it was just my mistake. It was muted before. I don't know why it unmuted itself, but I'll make sure I'm muted now.
Yeah, no worries at all. Thank you. And then the final button on here, just to the right of that, the little paper plane here, or the little digital plane rather than paper plane, that's the send button. So once you are completely finished writing your email, you've got all the people you want to send it to, your subject, the contents of your message, you've attached something if you want to attach something, only at that point is where you want to click the send button. Because once you click the send button, that email has been sent to the recipient there. So just make sure that you are complete before doing that. One thing that I will also, actually, I'll come back to my next point. I want to caution everybody about clicking reply all, but I'll talk more about that in just a couple of seconds here. So another feature that is in the compose message here is these three dots here. And underneath that is another little option menu that lets you change some things with your email. So one of the ones that I find most useful is this one called Schedule Send. So Schedule Send lets you actually schedule a time for when this email is actually going to be sent out to the recipients. So this can be really useful if you want to have an email sent out at a particular time of day. I know I've seen a few people where they will schedule an email to be sent out late in the evening so that their boss thinks that they're working late into the night there and burning the midnight oil. I would never do that. But I definitely have seen people who have done that before too. The other thing is if you are working late at night, but you don't want the recipient to actually get it until the morning, you can schedule it so that that email gets sent to the person first thing in the morning. You can also pick a date and time to have it sent out if you want it to be a little more customized there. So again, you don't have to use this. It's just one of the options that are available to you, but know that that is something that exists. So any questions so far? So far, so good. Awesome. Okay, so next what we're going to do is we're going to look at replying to an email. So let's take this email as an example there. So we're back on the main screen of Gmail. At the top here, we've received an email from the source. So they have sent us some information on, in this case, it looks like laptops. So we want to actually reply back to these guys. I don't think you do this so much for stores, but you definitely will use reply if you're replying back to an individual person. So what you're going to be clicking on here is this little button here. So I don't unfortunately have it marked here, but let me just annotate it so I can so I can highlight this one there. So the reply email is this button here. So this lets you actually send a message back to the sender here. Before I move on from this page here, let me just go through a couple other things that would be useful. So at the top, like with most of the other pages on Gmail, there are some options that you have to be able to work with this email. The top part here, this box here, this is the archive box. So what archive does is it moves it from your main inbox to a folder called All Mail. So essentially what it does is it just helps you keep your inbox clean, but it doesn't actually delete the message. It just moves it so that you can't see it in your inbox when you first start up Gmail. You instead have to go to a separate folder to be able to view this message. So this would be something that you might want to do if you say, wanted to keep the email, but you didn't want to work with it right now, or you just wanted to have a record of it for the future. You can archive that email so that it's gone out of your inbox, but you can still find it. Compare that to the one beside it, the delete email. So this is the little trash can icon here. So this icon will essentially delete the email from all places. It'll move it to a folder called trash. Sorry, I apologize. My dog's shaking beside me here. So if you click this button here, it'll move it to your trash folder, and eventually Google will delete it permanently. I believe there is a particular period of time that it will keep the emails in the trash folder before they get deleted. Beside that is another button that lets you mark the email as unread. So sometimes people will use the status of read or unread as a way to figure out which emails they have to focus on. So what I mean by read and unread is read emails, when you're looking at your inbox here, will typically show up as highlighted. They'll show up as bolded. And you can also categorize them as unread versus all messages as well. So if it's an email that you want to focus on, but you don't want to work on it right now, but you still want to make sure that when you go in, it's like very prevalent, you can click on this mark as unread button so that it stays bolded in your inbox. So again, reply email here. So let's click on that and move forward there. So this is what it's going to look like when you click on the reply email button. So it looks very similar to if you were composing an email from scratch. The only difference here is that on the to field, the source is automatically going to be populated there rather than you having to type in the email address. The other thing, and unfortunately it doesn't show it on this email, but it will also show a copy of the email that they sent to you. So that when you send a reply to them, they'll see their own email along with the reply that you put in after the fact. So once you've, let me just get, back one. Okay, so once you have entered in the message that you want to send to the person there, like with composing an email from scratch, you would click the send button in the top right-hand corner. Does anybody have any questions with this part?
Ryan, it's Elaine.
Hello,
I had a question on previous where you were talking about compose and then the 3 dots for schedule send.
Yeah.
And we did that. I saw something called confidential mode. It's something very useful, but I don't know whether we're talking about that right now or we're in another section.
I actually don't have the information on confidential mode right now, but I can get some more information for you at the end.
Thank you.
Yeah, I will figure out exactly what that does because I've actually never used it.
It would be very useful, especially you work in the bank. When we have sent something to the bank, we are not allowed to put the account number in full and so on and so forth. So if we can use this option, then we know that we don't have, we will be a little bit more safer to send stuff to the bank. I have account number 12345 at $10,000, and I want to make sure it goes to the bank safely.
That's a good point. I'm not sure if confidential mode is a way to mask your activities versus an encryption service. Let me find that out for you and I'll get back to you at the end of this class here.
Ryan.
Yeah.
Ryan, I'm sorry, something come up. I have to leave.
Oh,
so I'll see you next week.
No problem at all. Thanks for joining me today anyways. Take care, Dave.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Ryan, here's Judy. I have a question.
Yeah.
Let's say when we do a reply and we do not want the history to be part of the reply, can I avoid that?
Like when you're talking about you're talking about having the previous emails as part of the reply on there.
Yeah, I don't want it. Well, sometimes you have something which is a huge big group, right? And you do not set up a group, but meanwhile you want to reply to everybody, and let's say just make use of that, group of email address and start a new message, right?
Oh, I understand.
So
yeah,
and I don't want the history. I want to change the title, the subject of the email. Is there a way going about doing it, or I can wait till later?
Let me come back to that one later because that's another good question as well. I'll cover both of those at the end here, the confidential mode as well as deleting the history of what's on the reply. What you could do for something like that is you could copy the email addresses under two, and just compose a new message as well, and then it's fresh. Because I do believe that by default, when you click the reply button, it will include a copy of the original email, just because it's supposed to make it easier for the person you're replying to understand the connection to what you're sending back to them.
Okay.
But let me see if I can figure that out for you as well.
Okay, Ryan, it's Angela.
Hi.
Hi. When I look at the three dot, I don't have the schedule send. So it's not, I'm looking at my computer. So is it the iPhone, iPad, or computer, they are all different things with the three dot? Because I don't have the confidential mode, I don't have the schedule send on my computer. When I using my computer, I only have marked as unread, marked as not important, at star, create event, that's all, and mail and filter message, but not schedule send.
So those ones, this will be specific to the apps on iPhone and Android. I know that these features do exist on Gmail's website. Like if you use a computer, it's just going to be in a little bit of a different spot there.
Different, yeah, it looks all different, yeah.
Yeah, so when you're looking at the screen on here, what you're going to see is what it's going to look like if you're using an iPhone or an Android phone or tablet. If you use your computer, it's going to be quite significantly different, actually. There are all these features that are built in on there as well. It's just finding them might be a little bit more challenging because the nice thing about the iPhone and the Android when they complete the apps is that they do try to compact everything and make it really easy to find. Because they have almost unlimited space on your computer, they'll put it in different spots there.
I see.
When you know where it is, it's easy to find, but it's a little bit hard to find when you're not familiar with it. So we can see if we can track that down at the end. Maybe one of the volunteers can help work with you for tracking that information down.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so There we go. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to teach you about is some of the different folders that are available to you when you are in Gmail. So earlier I talked about going to this little burger menu, this little 3-line menu on the top left of the search bar on the main page there. So when you click on that, what will pop up is a whole bunch of different folders. And this can look a little daunting when you first bring it up here, but there's actually a lot of useful features when you see in this. So at the top here, your inbox, that's essentially going to be all the messages that you have in the folder, like essentially the incoming folder. So your inbox is where all messages will go when you first receive them. Now, underneath that is another folder called unread. So the only difference between inbox and unread is that unread is going to show you messages that you haven't viewed already or that you have marked as unread. So essentially, I was talking earlier about how unread is just a way to show Gmail whether or not you've seen the message or not. So when an email comes into your inbox for the very first time, it will automatically be marked as unread. Then when you click on the email and go into it, that email will be marked as read. Essentially, you're telling Gmail that you've already seen it. You can go back and actually mark that same email as unread so that it goes under this unread folder. The reason why you might want to use unread versus just going into the inbox in general is if you have a whole bunch of emails that have come in at different times and those emails are listed as unread, you can find them really easily by clicking on this button here. Whereas just the general inbox will show you both read and unread emails. So it'll show you kind of everything on there. Down a little bit farther, this one here, the starred message here, I know it doesn't have a thing on the side there, but starred messages are going to be messages that you have clicked on the little star here. So if you have marked that email as like a favorite or important, then by clicking this little star, you can actually go to the starred emails here and see all those ones. Underneath that is a sent item folder. So this would be a folder specifically for emails that you have sent. Now, those can be emails that you've composed from scratch, or those can be emails that you have replied to. But essentially, any email that you have sent from your phone or your computer or your tablet or whatnot will show up under the sent folder button. Down near the bottom here is two important folders as well. I shouldn't say important. These are actually the least important folders. There is a spam folder and the trash folder. Now, spam folder is where some emails will go that Google thinks are like essentially trash emails. They are either bad emails from people that you likely don't care about, or they are just a lot of sales types of emails, things like that. So Google does a good job of trying to categorize things as spam right off the bat, but you can also go into this folder and check it out as well to see if there's anything that you missed, any important emails that accidentally got sent to this folder. Usually, though, I've found that Gmail does a really good job of essentially organizing it. So oftentimes the things that are in spam are in fact spam. Below that is the trash folder. So if you have thrown out an email message by clicking on the little trash icon, this is where it'll show up in here. And I believe, again, Gmail will only hold things in the trash folder for a particular period of time. So don't keep emails that you want to keep in the trash folder. Try to keep them in one of the other folders if you can. Pretend like the trash folder is actually the physical trash in your house, and that periodically the trash man will come to pick it up and throw it out. But you don't know when that's going to be. So I would say anything that you put into this folder here, pretend like it's gone. The other one that I will mention as well is this folder here, all mail. So when you click on it, so I was talking before about how you can archive emails so that it's out of your main inbox and just kind of a way to keep your inbox organized. Well, if you want to find those archived emails, those will actually be under this all mail folder. So if you click on that, it will bring up pretty much every email that you have. So including all the archived emails as well. So that's where that's going to be. Any questions on this page? So far, so good? Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I now have a bit of a pop quiz for everybody. So when we are sending an email, so let's say we're replying to an email or composing an email from scratch. Can you send an email to more than one person at a time?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You can send an email to pretty much as many people as you want, as long as you have their email addresses. To do that, when you are composing an email, when you type in the to part here, you would just type in multiple email addresses. So you type in your first email address, then you type in your second email address, your third email address, so on and so forth there. So if you're sending an email to like members of your family, for instance, then you can put all of their emails on here. And that same email will go to all of them. Thank you. Next one. Where can you find emails that you have sent out?
Go to the send folder.
Send folder.
You got it, exactly. These questions are fairly obvious, but it's also good to just reinforce where these things would be found there. So again, when you are, let's see if I can go far enough. Okay, so when you are clicking on this little burger thing at the top here, on the right, or at the menu that will pop up, again, you will have the sent folder here, and that's where you can find emails that you have sent out. So lastly, can you attach or add a picture to the email you were writing?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that you might find is on your phone or tablet, when you do click on that paperclip, it might, if it's the first time you've done that, Gmail might ask for permission to be able to view your photos. So you do have to give Gmail permission to access your pictures. Otherwise, you won't be able to attach them.
No.
Oh.
Another Asian lady.
Oh, is somebody talking?
What do you think?
Mute them.
Let's see. Oh, I think it's quiet now. Okay. So sorry, I thought that was the last question. No, I have the last question. Can you delete an email?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then where would you go to find an email that you've deleted?
Trash.
Trash can.
You got it.
Garbage can.
The garbage can, the trash can. Absolutely. That's exactly where you would find them.